Hey there, if you've been thinking about the pros and cons of living in Midland, Texas, just want to know what's up, the good, the bad, and the ugly, stay tuned because I'm going to be talking about that in this video. Hey there, my name is Jacobe Kendrick with the Bolt Real Estate Group at eXp Realty. I'm your local real estate expert here in Midland, Texas. And in this video, I'm gonna be talking to you all about the pros and cons about living here in Midland, Texas. And I actually know a little bit about living here because I was born and raised. I left, went off to college, came back. I said I was never gonna come back to Midland. And then guess what? I ended up coming back. Everybody always ends up coming back to Midland. And so I'm going to be breaking down to you the pros and the cons, what I love and also what I hate about living here in Midland. All right, so let's go ahead and get this started with the pros. Pro number one is actually going to be the people. The people here in Midland are absolutely awesome. I've had the opportunity to live in various places around the world, especially being in the Air Force. I've been in Korea, I lived in Colorado, in Florida. And the one thing that I can say is that the people here are absolutely awesome. There's something to say about Texas hospitality, but also about Midland, Texas. Wherever you run around here, people are hardworking, they're friendly, they want to help you out. Everybody's going to greet you with a smile and ask how you're doing. And so the number one pro for sure is definitely the people. If you want some help or you need help with something, you can always find someone that's going to help you out here. So one of the other pros to living in Midland, Texas, I think, is the weather. We actually have all of the seasons here in Midland, and so it gets really hot in the summertime, and then actually it gets really cold in the winter. It's not unusual for it to snow one time out of the year here in Midland. And so I think that's a pro because I love the hot weather, I love the heat, but I also love the changing of the seasons as well, right? So when things start to get cold, you know, it's starting to become football season, and you know, everybody's going to be coming out watching games, high school games, and even games for the colleges around here as well. And so the weather here is really nice. If you don't like hot weather, then I'm going to suggest that you don't come. But that is one of the pros of being here in Midland, is the weather is super nice. All right, one of the pros here is also opportunity, is probably how I'm going to describe it. And so if you are looking to make a living, then Midland, Texas is one of the best places that you can be. Number one is we're the number one oil basin in the world. We produce more oil than anywhere in the world here in Midland, or in the Permian Basin area. And so when oil is up, things are really good. And even when oil goes down, you know, there's still some opportunities here. Now you might have to get a little bit more creative, but you know, you can still make a living. And that's actually why a lot of the people move here, is because, you know, there's a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of jobs, and we need, not just in the oil field, we also need healthcare providers, we need teachers, we need people who are going to fill all of those other positions to support our oil field community here. Now we're also doing a lot of diversification as well, and so we'll always be dependent on oil here in Midland, but we are also expanding into other areas. As a matter of fact, our airport is the first, I believe it is the first, I'll have to check to make sure. It is the first certified air and space port in the United States, I believe. So that is one of the other areas that we're expanding into. And so if you're looking for opportunity, you're looking for a job, Midland is one of the best places you can come to in order to support yourself, or in order for you to support a family. All right, and then the last pro that I'm gonna come up with here is going to be actually the real estate here in Midland, Texas. Now I know there might be some people who are gonna disagree with me, but at the time of this video, actually living in Midland is actually still really affordable compared to other parts of the United States. And so inventory is low all across the United States, But here it is not going as crazy as it is everywhere else. And so you can still find a place if you're looking for a place just for you to move into, for your homestead, the place where you're actually going to live at. Or it's also a great place for investment properties. And so we have really good rental rates. And so if you're looking to become an investor, you can purchase a property, rent that property out, and still make a really, really good return. And so that is the last thing that I'm going to say is one of the pros about living here in Midland. I actually got my start in real estate here in Midland, and so it's still a really good option. All right, so let's move on to the cons of living in Midland, Texas. The one thing that I say is a con, it's not really a con to myself because I don't really go out and do a lot of stuff in nightlife considering the stage of life that I'm in, but there is actually not a lot of attractions or a lot of nightlife here in Midland, Texas. Now, are we doing a better job of bringing in restaurants and attractions for things for folks to do? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we just revitalized our downtown area here in Midland, and there is a lot of activity, concerts, restaurants going on down there. But comparatively speaking to other areas, we do not have as much attractions or anything like that for you to go out to. There is like bowling, you can go to the movies, there are some nice restaurants and bars around town, but speaking in general, overall, that is one of the #1 complaints that I hear from people is that there's just not a lot to do here in Midland. All right, the next con I'm gonna come up with is going to be just how dry it is here, right? So a lot of folks still have problems with their allergies because everything is so dry in the area. And so, I know I said, the weather and the climate was a pro, but it can also be a con as well. And so if you have allergies, those sorts of things, like there's a lot of dust in the air here because we are in West Texas. So those things can really start to flare up, and that really bothers folks. And so allergies, all the wind blowing, dust blowing everywhere, that is a con for sure. All right, moving on with another con here. I know if you're from a bigger city, you're probably gonna laugh at me, but being from Midland, I left Midland back in 2002. I came back to Midland in 2012, and there has actually been a lot of growth in Midland. And so the traffic is just bad here. Our roads and the way they set things up are just not set up for the amount of people that we've had here. So we've had a few booms in the oil industry, and that's caused a lot of people to move into the area, and that causes more cars to be here. And so I remember when I was here and I was younger, you could get anywhere in the city in around 5 minutes. Now, to get from one end of the city to the other might take you 15 minutes now. But for someone who is a native Midlander, that is a long time. That is a long time. And so I know the city has been working on things with the timing on the lights, and also expanding roads and working roundabouts and those sorts of things. And so things are getting better, but that is one of the cons, especially if you've been a native Midlander and you're here now. That will be one of the conversations that comes up quite a bit, is that, hey, the traffic here is terrible. Even though if you're moving here from Dallas or Houston or Austin or something like that, I mean, it's not as crazy as it is there. But for us in West Texas, here in Midland, we're just not used to that. All right, the last con that I'm gonna talk about is going to be actually the landscape here. It's flat, it's a desert, there's nothing here. And so, that's one thing that I hear from folks. They're like, it is just ugly here. Well, like I said, I'm a native Midlander, so it doesn't bother me that much. I mean, we're in the desert. Tumbleweeds are gonna be rolling through, dust is everywhere, but that's one thing that we do not have. We do not have any scenery. It is not green here. And so if that is something that you're looking for, definitely do not move to Midland, or you do not want to be in Midland. And so greenery and all that is not going to be seen here. You're going to have to go further east to East Texas if that's something that you're looking for. And so, yeah, definitely dusty, definitely not green. We are in a desert, people. So as you can see, there are a lot of pros and cons to living in Midland. I think the pros definitely outweigh the cons. So let me know in the comments, was there anything that I missed? And what do you like or hate about living in Midland, Texas? So we get a lot of calls from folks moving into the area. And if you have any questions, or we would love to help you on your next transition here in the area. Hey, if you're new to my channel and want to know everything there is to know about eating, playing, working, and just the good, the bad, and the ugly about living in Midland, Texas, then you're gonna wanna hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell for notifications so every time we come out with a new video, you're gonna get notified.